Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. This is chapter number 19, Behavior, the final lecture with Mrs. Sadia Kazi. The objectives of today's lesson are to study social behavior and its various types. Social behavior. Social behavior consists of set of interactions among individuals of same species. A wide range of sociality occurs among animals. Some animals rarely, if ever, interact with one another, even when it comes to issue of parental care. Example of relatively asocial animals include mosquitoes and polar bears. Highly social organisms live together in large groups and often cooperate to conduct many tasks. Example of social groups include pack of wolves and school of fish. The many highly social animals form tightly knit colonies and include all ants and termites, some bees and wasps, and few other organisms. This is School of Fish Social Behavior. Animal society and aggregation. What is difference between aggregation and a society? Yes, a society is a social group of individuals of same species that interact with each other and influence each other's behavior in different ways. While aggregation is a group of animals that may be together but do not interact behaviorally. अभी ये that is aggregation, but this is society. These two are societies. This is simply aggregation. There are certain hostile and helpful intraspecific interaction among the animals. In beehives, hostile interaction is seen among worker bees. Old worker bees, which are unable to perform its duties in hive, are killed by other worker bees. On other hand, helpful interaction is found among those bees is different behavior. Different bees have specific duties to perform overall functions of the hive. Worker bees collect nectar and transform it to honey. Drones are specific to perform duty to fertilize eggs, and queen bee lays eggs. So these are hostile and helpful intraspecific interactions. Girl, I must tell you that this chapter is an easy chapter. There is nothing that you cannot understand here. I um, uh, uh, cannot further explain it. Sorry. We were doing animal society and aggregation. These are the animals which are just uh, living together. They are together, but they do not interact with each other. And while this is society having different tasks and work, and they affect each other in many various ways. Organisms living together in organized groups are said to live in societies. A society is social group is a group of individuals of same species that interact with each other and influence each other's behavior in different ways. This behavior interaction is a key characteristics of society. A hive of bees, a pack of wolves, a school of fishes are examples of societies. Characteristics of well-organized society include cooperation and division of labor among animals of different sexes. Now, what is division of labor, girls? Yes, to assign different tasks to different members. Different sexes, age groups, and castes, such as some members are specialized for finding food, reproduction, rearing, and defense. A simple aggregation is a group of animals that may be together but do not interact behaviorally. For example, huge flock of birds of many species roosting together in trees are aggregation, or group of zebras, buffaloes are not societies. Agonistic behavior. I have to read it, girls. I cannot explain it further. Agonistic behavior includes variety of threats or actual combat that settle dispute between individuals or a population. So agonistic behavior is basically a hostile behavior. ठीक है? threats or actual combats. Agonistic interactions use great deal of energy and may cause injury. Agonistic behavior is displayed to maintain social order such as territoriality and dominance hierarchy. Now you see, gorillas are non-territorial and live in groups called troops that generally consist of 1 to 4 adult males called silverbacks, some juvenile males called blackbacks, and several adult females and young. The oldest and strongest adult male silverback is usually dominant in troop and has exclusive breeding rights to the females. Troop population usually range in size from 2 to 12 individuals, with 9 being the average. They are highly synchronized in their activity patterns. If a troop consists of multiple silverbacks, they are usually the sons of dominant adult male silverback. One of the largest gorilla troop identified had a 4 silverback, 5 blackbacks, 12 adult females, and 16 young. Gorilla troops have a home range between 4 to 25 kilometers. Now, this is territorial behavior. This is silverback. Territoriality is behavior where individual defends a particular area called a territory. Territories are typically used for feeding, mating, and rearing young and are fixed in location. Actual combats or just mere threats. Highly territorial organism. Let's see the book. Territoriality is defense of an area by an organism or group of organisms against organisms of same or different species. There are threats displayed between owner of adjacent territories. Despite the apparent conflict and aggression associated with territory formation, actual fighting, which would have detrimental to the species, is rare and replaced by threats, gestures, and postures. Once territory is established through aggressive interactions, relative peace prevails as boundaries are recognized and respected. Territorial behavior is seen in animals such as diverse worms, arthropods, fish, birds, and mammals. Territorial behavior in mountain gorillas. Gorillas are highly social, relatively non territorial, and live in groups called troops. The oldest and strongest male is called silverback, is usually the dominant one of the troop. बाकी तो adolescent females transfer to a different troop once they reach about 8 years age. Adolescent males, on the other hand, usually remain in the troop until they can leave and establish new troop of their own as silverback. Although gorillas typically aren't aggressive, they do exhibit territorial behavior by standing upright on their bottom two legs, pounding their chests in order to intimidate whatever threat they have been given. These gestures, however, are more for show and they aren't usually violent. Next is dominance hierarchy. In each animal establishes rank determines its access to source. The dominant individuals obtain most access to resources needed for reproduction, include food, space, and mates. In some animal, dominance is simple function of aggressiveness, which itself is influenced by sex hormones. An example is pecking order or social hierarchy of chicken. A society of chicken evolves hierarchy as a result of pecking each other. If several hens unfamiliar of one another are put together, they respond by chasing and pecking one another. Pecking क्या होता है? हाँ जी, वो उसको चोंच के साथ थोड़ा वो मारना. Eventually, they establish a clear peck order. The alpha or first rank hen in the peck order is dominant. She is not pecked by any other hens and can usually drive off all others by threats rather than actual pecking. Alpha hen also has first access to resources such as food, eater, and roosting sites. ठीक है, not the rooting, it is roosting sites. The beta or second ranked hen similarly subdues all other except alpha, so on down the line to omega or lowest animal. Science tidbits. A pheromone is secreted or excreted chemical factor that triggers social response in members of same species. Pheromones are chemicals capable of acting outside the body of the secreting individuals to impact the behavior of receiving individuals. There are alarm pheromones, food trail pheromones, or sex pheromones, and many other that affect behavior physiology. ठीक है, अभी दिस इज पैकिंग ये वो अपना अल्फा मेल. Altruism means principle of living for interest of other. So what is altruism? Principle of living for interest of other. Yani this is a caring behavior in which certain organisms expend time and energy caring for the other members of the species. It's a form of social behavior whereby one organism put itself either at risk or personal disadvantage for good of other members. Altruism refers to any behavior that endangers an individual organism or reduces its reproductive success that benefits other members of a species. Altruistic behavior is common in animal kingdom. For example, female worker bees forego reproduction and devote their lives to raising the offspring of hive queen. Here we will illustrate altruism through organization of honeybee society. This is worker bee, queen bee, and drone. Honeybee colony is made up of three type of castes: the queen, the workers, and drones. Queen lay eggs from which other bees develop. The drones are male bees that fertilize the egg of queen. The drones develop from unfertilized egg and are haploid. The workers are female, develop from fertilized eggs. Any fertilized egg can develop either into a queen or a worker depending how egg is housed and fed. यानी डाइट पे भी फर्क पड़ता है, रखते कहाँ हैं और उनकी डाइट. द वर्कर परफॉर्म ऑल टास्क of the hive except for mating and laying eggs. They take flights away from hive to forage food. At time of mating, many drones follow the queen out of the hive, follow her pheromone trail, and mate in flight. After mating, the drones die. The drones that do not mate have no better fate because workers pinch them, sting them, and throw them out of hives as the winter approaches. Because the drones they do nothing just to eat except to eat honey. So as the winter approaches, the honeybees they seal their hive. They drove the drones away. Sorry, they drive the drones away. The queen controls the bees with a chemical called pheromone. The bees ingest this chemical by licking the queen and then pass substance around from one another as they pass food. Pheromone render the worker bees sterile. Workers make half dozen or more new queen cells in which replacement queens begin to develop. The old queen and a swarm of females and male drones leave to establish a new hive. The first queen to emerge may kill the all other candidate queens and assume rule or may create another swarm and leave establish another hive. Sterile female workers are prevented from producing offsprings, yet they spend their lives looking after their brothers and sisters. So this is all for the behavior chapter. Exercise options are given. Short questions. 11, 12 you can find them on your own. Question number 7, do it yourself. Try to do it yourself. Try to look at other places. ये सवाल खुद कीजिए. Extensive questions, page number are written here. So girls, अल्लाह का शुक्र है आज हमने अपनी बुक के 6 चैप्टर कवर कर लिए हैं. अब मुझे ये नहीं पता कि आपको कितने कुछ इसमें से समझ आए हैं या कितने आपने याद करने की कोशिश की है. ठीक है. Thank you very much girls. Stay blessed, stay home and stay safe.